Anyway, hello, folks, walking in on this wonderful hangout on there, wondering what the heck are these 4 or 5 people talking about? Jeez. Anyway, welcome. My name is Aunt Pruitt. My lower third doesn't say it yet, but I am Aunt Pruitt, and this is the Smartphone Photographers community. Our little weekly hangout on there where we get together and talk about different tips and tricks that'll make you a much better smartphone photographer. I say much better because some of you are actually pretty good. Most of you are not. That's just how it is, folks. I'm sorry.
Harsh.
No, we can really help you out and share different ideas within our community that'll help you get some really nice photos out of your wonderful iPhone, out of your wonderful Galaxy S6, 5, 3, whatever. We have little tips and tricks and ideas that'll help you out. We also get together to discuss a weekly community photo challenge. And it's usually themed on something clever, or anything pretty much random. We've had black and white, we've had the architecture. This time we got a theme of doors. So we'll get into that in a minute. I'm gonna allow these folks that are joining in on the community tonight, joining in on the panel tonight. I'm gonna allow these guys to introduce themselves. We'll start all the way up at the top of the country with my man, Mr. Joey Kelley. How you doing, brother?
Good evening, everyone. It has been a almost Texas hot style day up here today. Not even kidding you, it was up in the 90s in Maine in a high humidity. Now keep in mind, people go out 90s. That isn't really all that bad. Texas was over 100 and something. Keep in mind that we also have temperatures in the negative 30 range in the winter. So if you look at the sweep, it's pretty wide.
So you've been miserable today, bro.
It has been a day that we literally cowered inside in our air-conditioned offices and homes. Wow. It is not unfair to say that there is a lot of people burning up a lot of kilowatts in their air conditioners today. There's no question. But
hopefully no brownouts there.
Yeah, actually, that is one of the few things, knock on wood, that we do not have a problem with in this state in general is a lack of power. So we'll run with that. The cliche, of course, is that turn it on and we'll be there.
Jeez. There you have it, folks. Anyway, my man Joey Kelley, appreciate you joining in. It's good to see you as always. Let's move over down to the state of Texas. My man, Mr. Michael King. How you doing?
It's been pretty hot. In fact, it's so hot, I want to make it like a leaf and blow it up.
Good gosh.
It was 100. We came close to tying a all-time high of 102, which was set back in 1914.
Jeez. Keep it down there, brother. Keep it down there.
But right now we have nice little rain, and it's not bad. It's still hot, as you know where.
Nice.
I'm not going to say the.
And I appreciate that.
The 80 degrees inside when I got home.
Jeez. Well, appreciate you joining us, Mr. King. Next up, well, he's not there, but we're going over to California. Hey, my man, Mike Sweeney. What's going on, brother?
Well, since people brought up weather, I just want to point out that it's hotter than Georgia asphalt out here in California today.
Nice.
So in other words, you can fry an egg on concrete.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Georgia asphalt.
Well, it's hot enough up here to fry a cat on the
We're
side.
doing well. We're doing well. We got the AC burning kilowatts out here. We're doing well. We got a little bit of the vino to help take the edge off the pain of the weather.
That's a smart man. Good stuff, man. Good to see you as always. Let me see if my man Ron Ergan is available. Right now we're staring at looks like a webcam and the ceiling. And
he's there somewhere.
Can you see?
I see your what I see is your webcam, Ron.
I don't. My webcam isn't turned on.
Right, but your tablet
Something's
or
turned
whatever
on.
you
Oh, my
Yeah,
tablet. Yeah,
something's pointed at it. There you are, Ron.
There he is.
oh, you can see me now?
Now we see
Yeah,
you.
now we got a face, or at least a
That's
half a face.
That must be scary as heck.
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
How you doing, Mr. Ron?
Maybe I'll write a song like that someday.
Jeez.
No, I thought
You know you can't see through mud.
are you are you a doctor? You said you were on call. I didn't think you'd make it tonight.
Oh no, man! I do
IT.
tier 2 support, IT tier 2
Yeah,
support. And,
Dr. Bits.
yeah,
Oh.
I had to do I did a data dump tonight a couple times, and I just wanted to make sure nothing happened, and you know.
Yeah, because
Nothing bad.
man can't see through mud.
Bad thing.
Clear as mud.
Negating that one, King. But yeah, you doing okay, Ron?
I'm having a ball. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying myself on Google Plus, and unfortunately, everybody has to answer all my questions. You know, because I'm probably one of the latest around. You know, I haven't been on it very long.
It's all good.
Great time playing with cameras and wanting to buy new phones, and the wife says, you need another one of those, you know.
Yes, dear. I need another one of those.
Yes.
Yeah,
He has the sickness too, folks. Nice.
I do. Yeah, my tablet says the battery is low. So if I
Uh-oh.
shut this off, can I get back on the computer?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
All right, what do I do? Just go to where it says Hangouts and click it?
Yeah, I'll send you another invitation and it'll pop up.
Okay, well,
I'll send it in about 2 minutes.
and if
Okay.
you don't want me back, you know.
Well, you know,
Had you
honestly,
changed-
with tablets, you can just take that low battery, with a grain of salt.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
well, it turns off when it gets down to 0.
That's
just
course.
That's rude.
Sounds logical. No, go ahead and I'll invite you in about 2 minutes, so that'll
Okay.
give you a few seconds to get logged into your computer.
Okay, thank you.
See you, man.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Good evening, everybody. It's really
Good evening.
good being here.
All right, so that's our introductions. Let's go ahead and get into this week's challenge. This was proposed by my man Chris Seam, I believe. Chris is out in the Washington State area. I think he's in the Spokane, Washington area. And he proposed a challenge of doors. Let me see if I can pull up his little description on it. Doors is an everyday thing, yet often a symbol of beginning, a journey forward or inward, a mark of someone's home, or even a step into the unknown. Well said.
Well said.
Consider how color affects the image, but also think about size, shape, texture, and details. How might these elements add up to tell a story? I thought that was a very, very clever challenge to come up with there. Unfortunately, I thought it was going to be a difficult one to shoot. That's just my personal opinion, because about like windows, everybody has a door. You know what I'm saying? So it's real easy to just take a snapshot of a door or of a window or something like that. And I was hoping we didn't get a lot of snapshots. So let's take a look. I'll share my screen to let you guys see what was submitted in the challenge this week. See if I can figure out. Go ahead.
I'm sure that many of these shots are a doorway to our souls.
Okay. Well played, Mr.
Well, you gotta appreciate the fact that doors are one of the few challenges where size matters.
You know, this is true. This is true. Okay. Oh my God, these guys and their puns tonight. This is going to be an interesting hangout. Trust me, folks. I'm trying to share my screen. I'm running Windows 10 and I'm running 3 different browsers right now, so I'm slightly confused.
I'm surprised no one had a picture of Jim Morrison.
There it is. So we're going
Hello, the Morrison Hotel. Who do you think
I saw that.
I saw that. Yeah, I meant actually the actual picture of Mr. Door himself.
Sorry, I didn't have access to that.
All right. You guys see my screen?
We all know Mr. King sharp as a marble, so we'll let it go.
No comment. You guys see my screen now?
Now your screen has been
Yes.
shared. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the shots. that were submitted. We didn't get as many folks participating this week, but I still see a handful of really nice ones in here. I'm going to do our usual round robin of highlighting a couple of picks before we look at our top vote getter, and allow you guys to take a stab at some of these shots here. So I want to pick on one of our new members. This shot comes from Miss Essence Vibes. I believe she's up in Ohio somewhere. Yeah, Ohio State University, and she uses the S5. And from what I know about Miss Essence is not only she's fairly new to the community, but she's crazy interested and crazy curious about this whole thing with smartphone photography, and I enjoy it. You know, every now and then I get questions from her about, you know, what does this mean? What does that mean? And, you know, what can we do? Yada, yada, yada. And it's nice to see that she's out there trying different stuff. So in this particular shot, hold on, let me make sure I can get Mr. Ergan invited back in here. There you go. In this shot, she used her S5, and she used a filter called PixArt Twilight. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, digging into the shot. I don't necessarily care for it because it's just a snapshot, if you will. It's a standard office building door or waiting room doors. At least that's what it looks like to me. But I do like the I guess you can say the quality of it. It's not all pixelated. It's a nice quality photo. I wish she had straightened it out just a touch. It does look like it should be lined up a little more, almost as if it's leaning down from left to right. But outside of that, it's just a snapshot of a door. Now, anything I would have done differently with this shot, maybe crop down the top to just this frame here and leave the floor here as, I don't know, something different. But definitely straighten it out and align it a little bit. But she doesn't have a lot of texture, but she does have good color, good color in this shot. So I'm going to let you guys take a pick at it, and we'll start with you, King.
Well, unlike Sweeney, it's not like Sweeney, I should say, like Sweeney is. It's a brick shy of a load, but it's not bad.
Oh, that's cold. But okay, anyway,
Or
it's
I
not
can
bad.
say his elevator's still stuck in the basement.
No.
You know, you two mics, you guys both have the six-pack, but I don't think you have the little plastic thing to hold it all together.
Clearly.
But
Anyway,
no,
go ahead,
you're
King.
right. It's a shot. One, it is a little cockeyed. It which I like. This is one of I kind of like Sweeney would say. It drives me crazy when you don't have it centered.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's just a snapshot. It looks like it is a door to either her office or waiting room or
Yeah, she says it's
hotel.
the hospital admissions office is where this is.
Probably where she works, but it's just just a snapshot, and it's just not. It doesn't float my boat.
Okay, Sweeney.
So this is one of those shots where I would say, welcome to my hell.
Okay, why so?
Because it's evident that she's actually trying.
Yep,
And
exactly.
really don't want to be too critical of someone who's putting out an honest effort.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying.
With,
Yeah.
with that said,
Here it comes.
I think she could still salvage the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do, if it were me, I would straighten it out. So you got the center line vertical like it should be. I would crop it square with the center line in the middle, and I would crop it all the way down so you had a grid of 4 open spots. I don't know if you can zoom quite enough to do this.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But I would zoom it down to the 4, and then I would use that handle as the anchor piece for the visual interest.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That. And if it was just a little bit straighter, that would have been a lot. That would have made it much.
So you got the handle that's off center to give some detailed texture.
Uh-huh.
And then you got the little bit of that green couch or chair showing in the back, which I think is actually very cool.
And also the other equipment are on the wall. So
you
wouldn't
see that with a grid of four.
Zoomed in.
You know, you
I see
the
where you're
computer,
going with that,
and
Sweeney.
you see
Yeah, I
the
really do.
table.
I
You kind of
see
wonder
it.
what the story there is, and it would actually be framed by the upper third.
Well, I think it's fair to say, Mike Sweeney, that you have a handle on that shot.
Okay. You know, but see, Sweeney, I get what you're saying about someone being new, and you don't want to really ding them too much, but it's not like you or King or myself went at her and said, you know what, this shot absolutely sucks.
No.
You know, the
No,
point of what we try to do, the point of what we try to do is say, hey,
shot
this
can be salvaged.
right. We say, look, this is what we see in it, far as a potential standpoint. Try this out on for size. That's the whole point of the community, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've all offered that so far, and I look forward to hearing from Miss Vibes and seeing if she wants to try to take that shot back through her editor again and see what she can pull out. Go ahead, Mr. Kelley. What are your thoughts?
As long as she understands this isn't a witch hunt to get her. So.
Of course. Right.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing. I mean, you know, any of us. I will say this for myself, and I'm sure the other three guys are all moderators of the group. We are all available for, you know, what would you do if? How would you do this? What would you do? That sort of one-on-one thing. If we can help, we will help. We're not here to, you know, to come down on people and make them feel like crap.
And in spite of all the cutting up and kibitzing we do, we promise not to abuse you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
I do think that Miss Vibes has gotten the essence of this shot. Sorry, Essence. I'm sure you've gotten your fair share of jokes made about that one. But as the one thing that I would do here, in addition to being straighter, I am wondering why this is not a horizontally formatted shot.
It needs to be square.
Well, I think if it was horizontal, it would be better than it is a vertical, because the doors, at least to my eye, would be more interesting if you could see all of the doors in the frame, not just a portion. Sweeney, no. I know you're going for a tiny portion blown up. That would look better
too. Tiny and sweat the details on this.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. I just don't think I would have shot this as a vertical. Or if I had, I'd probably do something like what Sweeney's saying and get in real close. Yes. I think what we're trying to say on this particular shot is not that it is necessarily bad, but it is.
This is the beginning of a great shot.
Yeah, it's the beginning of a great shot.
But again, it made the essence of the contest, though. It is doors.
Yep.
So she did
fit the Yep.
But
I think the other thing we're trying to. Well, I think the other thing that we're trying to say is that it's not telling a story. Mm-hmm. It's not visually compelling in that I look at it and I go, oh, okay, 2 doors. Right. I'm not curious. I'm not going, what is the hidden meaning? I am not, saying to myself, oh, I have to find out what the story behind this shot is. I'm looking at it going, yep, 2 doors to an office. Yep, that's pretty much it. And if you were to do something like Sweeney suggesting, tighten up on it, change the exposure, anything along those lines, I think it would be very interesting if you were tightened up close on it and the background were darker and a little more mysterious and moody, perhaps. Just a thought.
Good. Very good. So let's move on to another shot. Essence, again, I look forward to hearing from you and seeing if you can take that through the grinder again. You know what I mean? All right, so let's close that. Don't need that window. Okay, let's pick on somebody else here. There was one from somebody sitting in the room. There it is. My man, Mr. Joey Kelley. All right, Joey has his semi-new Nexus 6, I believe. Yep, Nexus 6.
You gotta hang your head in shame with this.
Why should I be hanging my head in shame? I took second place.
So, okay, so hold on. Let's go ahead and start with you then, Sweeney. Go ahead.
Feel free. This epitomizes one of the pet peeves I have.
Wait a minute.
about black and white.
Before you start, I already know what you're going to say.
All right, then you go ahead and say it.
This is grayscale.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I agree with you 100% on that. But sorry. Continue, sir.
I love the texture going on, but I really dislike the fact it is literally gray. Everything is gray, including what should be white.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think the most interesting part actually is the window glass with that cool diagonal going through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that might be a case of cropping in a little tighter. And, you know, I understand you were trying to get the whole doorway, but this might be a case where you want to lose part of the doorway and focus in on a very interesting detail.
Okay. Now, me personally, I wanted to see a little more of the frame because it looks like it's cut off a little bit there. I do like the idea of the window looks mysterious because it's dark back there and there's clearly something in front of it. Yet at the same time, you have some light shining on it that gives you a little bit of glare that tries to obstruct your vision just a little bit. So I like that aspect of it, and I love the texture of it. I mean, you can see all of this just peeling away on it. But
the
100%.
The other thing that you might want to try is to drop this in something with a clarity adjustment and just really crank the clarity on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you pull up all that cool texture in the door itself and the pillars.
All of that right there would have came out right there.
Yep.
That's good stuff, though. I like where you was going with that on this one, Joey. But I do agree.
Would you like to see the original?
Make it black
Sure.
and white.
Got the original hand.
Black and white. I'm wondering, is this red paint, maybe?
Yep.
Voila.
It is red paint.
There it is.
And the reason why the white looks gray is that the white has faded to gray.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
not.
but you know what? Black and white is not about accurately reproducing color.
That's true. By the way, if you look at the comments, you'll find that I did go through a blue filter with this on the black and white conversion.
Right. Right.
That is because it looked a standard grayscale did not work for this at all.
Yeah, I believe that.
Filter. I tried a red filter, tried a green.
I would have tried
neither of them
yellow,
worked.
actually.
I didn't try yellow. That's a good point. I didn't try yellow.
So by going the blue, you were able to get more of the texture to show up?
Correct. By going the blue, I was able to pop the texture a little bit. And that seemed to be the greatest contrast, if you will, with that filter. As to something in the frame or inside the window, you're right. I don't know what that is. It's a piece of wood. That much I can tell you. What it actually is, I'm not sure. And as to why it is cut off, to quote yourself, Ant, the reason for that is that on the bottom of the frame, you can kind of see it is actually a piece of scrap metal that has just been leaned up against the bottom of the door. It looks considerably more unsightly when you're actually there in person and not looking at this. So it was cut off for a reason, not because I didn't want to show you more of the frame.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see.
So,
I like your shot, though, bro. I do like your shot.
So the question would be, Sweeney, would you have left it color?
Uh-oh. Sweeney just dropped out.
Sweeney dropped out. Let me look at your color shot again there, Joey.
Joey, I think I would left it more, I would, cropped out that bottom a little bit and left it in color, to be honest.
I would have liked it black and white myself, Joey.
Yeah, I felt that it. I felt that it looked as bad as it looks in color in terms of its condition. It looks even worse when you black and white it.
Yeah,
and that's
not
what
a
I was
bad
going
thing for this photography.
Yeah.
Now, it would have been fun to take the color, crank up the clarity, and crank up the saturation.
Well, let's see what I can do here. First of all, I can sharpen it.
What are you in, Picasso?
Yeah. I'll run the sharpen mask. Apply.
I'm not sure it's got enough
That looks a little better.
latitude there.
Yeah, I can resharpen it after I've
Looks a little
sharpened it.
better.
Oh, that looked worse.
Not too much, no.
That's one full sharpen. That's not bad.
Right.
And then
Push up the contrast and saturation. There you go.
Oh yeah, there we go.
oh, good God, that looks hideous.
I don't like that. I don't like that. There's no
See,
texture.
this is the difference between Kodachrome and Ektachrome.
I'll have you know I was a Kodachrome shooter.
So, okay, fine. But what I'm saying is that this to me just looks horrid, to be honest.
Looks like
that kind of cranked up color just makes me no.
I don't dig that myself. I'd rather
If you could cut the color back just a little bit.
if you could put contrast in it, maybe that'll help it some.
Where's my contrast?
You know, so it's 90 degrees here right now, and it just started to rain.
I hate you. It gets hot there. He gets rainy. It gets hot here.
There we
Let's
go.
Get more heat.
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
looks
now there we go.
That looks great. Yeah.
Well, it's 93 here, and the humidity is 80%.
Joey,
I still think cropping down to get that cool window as the focus point would be interesting, but
Yeah.
that's something you have to play with, and that would end up being a very personal decision. No,
not too much.
yeah, not
That's
too
just a
much.
window. Because that says you're shooting a window, not a door. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I like stuff
like
like
that.
that because
Now,
that
that looks
white
good.
actually acts like a frame, which it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like the extreme crop.
But I like the color and the
Pixels are cheap. Don't be afraid to kill the pixels.
Did you just say?
I do like the contrast, and I like the color where you got it right now, Joey. It would look better if you entered that in there. Even though
I
did
have
vote
to
for
admit
both of them.
that does give it a different look. You know, it does. Yeah.
Good stuff. Share that in the community so everybody else can see it, bro.
All right, can do.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
Well, good. That's another good shot shared there. We're going to take a look at another one here, another couple, before we look at the winning photo. No, he's already got that. So let's go here. This is somewhat of a different perspective from my man Chris Seam, the challenge creator, if you will. What does he use? He uses a Galaxy S6. Man, I can't say that. And edited this inside of Pixlr. Now, I need to zoom in on it because I'm not real sure. I thought these were like doors to shops that are usually pretty big, but it's really hard to tell. You know how the shops on the streets have those roll-up doors?
Right.
But it's sort of hard to tell. But just looking at the framing and the awning, that's what I thought. So the fact that I had to try to figure out, is this a door, is this a window, that negated it for me. But I like this filter. It looks like he's got a filter on top of this. I like the filter that he's got on top of this. The way the colors sort of look brushed, or I guess I can't really say watercolor, but it almost looks like what's that blur on it? Gaussian blur? Sort of reminds me of that. But Gaussian, sorry. But that's what that reminds me of. Outside of that, yeah, if he could have displayed better, that these are doors, I might have been a little happier with it. But I like the sign. I like that nice little touch there. So anyway, Kelley, your thoughts?
In a word, it's not the way I would have edited it, frankly, and I don't think this doesn't, to me, scream doors. This screams street art or murals or graffiti or something like that. It doesn't scream doors to me. I dislike what I consider to be, I think this is something that Sweeney coined a phrase on a couple of hangouts ago. Cliche things that everyone's doing.
Cliche filters.
Yeah, the cliche filters. This has got a little bit, unless I'm totally wrong, it looks like it's got a little bit of filtered black and white with the carriage room sign, because that looks totally colorless. Either that or he's just pumped up the contrast in the center and negated everything else. I don't know. I could go either way on that part, but it looks like the photo has been tweaked in one section but not in another. And to my eye, if I'm going to put emphasis on one spot, that's all you're going to see in the photo, because everything else is going to be blurred, or everything else is going to be hidden in some sort of fashion. It's going to be framed away or included, blurred front or back or whatnot. But it seems like the reason why this shot is here is that it's relying on these cliche filters to make a shot that I don't particularly like for this challenge into something that fits the challenge. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I think it would be a great shot, like I say, for art or something in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't scream doors to me.
Okay, that's fair. King.
This one, it's just like what Joey and what Sweeney had to say. It looks just more like street art. And I can't really tell what it is. I know it's shops that put up stuff to when they close up to keep people from trying to break their windows and their doors in, but it really didn't turn me on.
See, I didn't even get that out of it, because we don't do that up here in Maine in general. So it didn't even.
Oh yeah, I get that. I guess you can say that's cultural, in a sense for you, Joey. But I agree with King. I've seen that from time to time. Just when you go to these little shops in towns that are not necessarily rebuilt, they're just using the existing architecture that's there. They have these really, really big doors. That's not necessarily a door that's on a hinge that swings open. It's like a gate, and it lifts up, almost like inside of a mall, except it's outside.
Right, it's to try to stop these smash and grab type things. That's what it looks like it's for, and which we know a lot about because we have a lot of those happen around here. And they try everything to stop it. So that's what it looks like. The doors those roll down doors, steel doors that help stop smash and grabs.
What are your thoughts, Sweeney?
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for it, and I won't vote for it.
Okay.
I didn't either.
Yes, hell may have frozen over because I'm going to agree with Joey on a good portion of what he said.
Holy crap.
Hallelujah, people, write it down.
It's so noted.
I agree. This strikes me as an image that was a snapshot that had a filter du jour applied to it, and it's still just a snapshot. It doesn't speak doors to me. It's got some interesting art, and if it had been cropped to focus on the art, I might like it better. But at this point, I think it's an image that doesn't really know what it wants to be.
Mm-hmm. I looked at it from this perspective here and thought it was a little bit better. It was a little tighter, I think. Make that a little tighter. Right about here. And then I put this over here like that. I don't know. Something like that I thought that might have helped some.
In my mind, when you say doorway, in my mind, I expect to see an entrance or some type of opening.
Yeah.
And I don't see that here.
Right.
Ironically, if we look at the other shot that Chris posted,
Which one's that?
That is the ant. It doesn't appear to be on your screen. It's a safe door. Might have to refresh yours. I don't know if this was just a late posting.
Possibly.
Let's see, where is it? Yeah, right there. To the left of the team members only.
There it is. Okay.
Right there. So
Ooh.
this.
I like that.
Ooh.
Now that is a good one.
Now, I like it and I don't like it. I like it because it's a heck of a lot better interpretation of doors than the other shot that he posted.
This is a really strong image.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I don't like is that it also appears to be heavily filtered.
Don't care.
And I think that this would look much better without.
See how transitory my agreement with Joey is?
You know, Joey, I'll say this.
My senses, obviously.
Joey, I'm going to say
One
this.
ear out the other.
I think there is a fine line when it comes to the use of filters.
Oh yeah.
But again, sometimes they're rather beneficial, and I like to compare the use of filter of the day to the way some people like to do HDR. You know, they take a regular shot of some particular scene, and they run it through all of the different HDR processing, and sometimes it comes out very, very fantasy-like and cartoony looking.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes that works.
And sometimes it works. Yeah, sometimes
more often than not, it doesn't.
It fails epically. The thing that I don't like about filters is when you apply a filter to a portion of an image and then apply a different filter to a different portion of the image. Unless I am completely wrong, and Chris, feel free to tell me I'm wrong if this is not the case, but it looks like he applied one filter to the left and one filter to the right, which makes this, in my mind, look cartoony and fake.
No.
And well, you see, that's the difference, is that I come from a documentary school. I want to be able to show you what it really looks like.
You are too literal for your own good.
Okay.
Oh.
Tell me more, Mr. Sweeney.
I love the fact he's got two opposing views here. He's got the light side and he's got the darker, warmer side, with the picture split between the two and this really strong vertical line separating the two.
An inky black line. I like that.
That's an awesome story right there. Polar opposites, same picture, just two halves of it. And that story continues with the door structure. Same doors, two different stories. Same handles, two different stories.
I feel like I want to be Dan Aykroyd in a famous SNL skit and call Sweeney something very naughty.
Probably wouldn't be the first time I've been called that.
Sweeney, you ignorant. Anyway, and I noticed the ant went on mute because he's like, I am not getting involved in this.
Yeah. Dan went on this one.
Yeah, but,
oh gosh, no, I was coughing into the mic, but y'all were killing me.
I see what you're saying.
I think he might have spit his beer in the mic, and that's why he muted it.
But I see what you're saying, Sweeney. I see what you're saying. I just don't agree with what you're saying. So that's,
of course you don't. You're a documentarian. I am an artist. I'm right.
That's funny. I thought I was right.
Let me say this, Kelley.
Time out. You're both right, and you're both wrong.
Just going, I'm going to shoot you both and be done with it.
Shoot everybody. Let God sort them out, right, King?
That's right.
Mr. Kelley, I like to think that this right side of the image is not necessarily a filter on its own. I like to think that this is light.
You got to understand, the light side of the image is about the heavenly host forgiving the world. You got the dark side of the image,
It's a yin and yang.
So what you're trying to say is that this shot is like duct tape. It has a light side and a dark side, and it holds the universe together.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. But no, if you look at it, it looks like
you're supposed to get in Yoda's voice.
A brighter light source on the right side versus the left side, not necessarily a a filter on either side of it. In my opinion, it's just
So
the
Chris,
resource.
this picture is a success because we've talked about it for more than 5 straight minutes.
Yes, it's a
Right.
damn good shot, bro. Damn good
Another
shot.
photo you must show us now.
Sweet. All right, so let's move on.
Let's
We'll go
examine this
ahead
picture very closely.
and take a look at my man
Yes,
at the winning shot here. Whered it go? There it is, right there. All right, we have a clear-cut winner this week.
That's a doorway.
My man Boris Moretsky over
Again.
near the Berlin area. I think he uses the Note 4. Yeah, Note 4.
And it's got a
As
story.
always. And it has a story to it. Today we made a 4-hour hike and have inserted our short break in a mountain hut. Old and dark with lots of doors. It was quite complicated to take pictures with the mobile phone, but the light was just too complicated. Therefore, I had to post-edit more or less heavily in Snapseed, which is quite all right. But in the meantime, I am back at the hotel, and I have the time and leisure for it, for this editing. That's nice. Yeah, this shot here, man. Door is the challenge. We have a door. We have a leading path up to the door. Not necessarily a perfect leading path, as this little floor mat sort of diagonals off to one side. I love this. This is a true black and white. My man here with the shadows on him gives him sort of a mysterious, what is he doing kind of look here. I don't know what the heck this is here, but I'm curious. It looks almost
Looks like
like
a
an
fan.
instrument, like a, I don't know what that is, but it looks like
Kinda looks
something
It also looks kind of like a fan of some kind.
possibly.
I was
I don't
thinking
know.
it might be a bear trap.
Bear. Oh,
You
Yeah,
know,
could
I mean,
very well
it
be.
looks like a hunting lodge. So I mean, I don't know too many people that go hunting with a large brass instrument.
no, it's not a bugle, but that was the first thing that came to my
No,
mind.
French
no,
horn.
it is. It's know what it is. I can see the. It looks like a tuba. 'Cause I can
No.
see the.
It's too small.
But when I'm, oh crap, I hit the wrong button.
Looks like a French horn.
Well, yeah. All right, get closer now. Drop it down a little. It is a musical instrument of some kind. It's
What
in
the flying
Germany.
heck is a French horn or something like it
Oh.
doing in the middle of a hunting cabin in the middle of the Alps?
Don't forget that's Germany.
Well, you get bored.
They're
Get
they're-
bored
they're
and beer
famous
fest
band.
time. Bored and beer fest time. Anyway,
mhm.
I like what he's got going here. I can't say I would do much different on it. I'm curious about this blotch up here.
I would lose that top piece.
Yeah, I
Keep
don't know
the
what
horn. Lose the
Yeah.
top piece.
I don't
I
think
don't
it
know,
serves
though.
any purpose, you know.
I like the top piece because it's kind of leaning towards the rule of thirds a little bit in that it has something. Your eye is immediately drawn to the gentleman in the other door frame.
You
And that's
are
a-
stretchy.
Well, so are my
That-
pants after I
that
have
doesn't
ice cream.
count.
Your point?
That does count. Anyway, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, but it
Hey, leave the horn. Take the
oh yeah,
lightness
leave the
out.
horn. I just like the way
Like
that
both.
that gives you a contrast. It shows it puts the
Contrast.
sense.
What?
Yeah,
It's a
because
visual
the guy is
distraction.
black and the is darker and that white blotch or whatever it is. I think it's an animal pelt. That's just me.
That's
Um,
You're
possible.
probably right.
That's
It probably
possible.
is. I like it. It needs to stay in the shot.
Yeah,
Sweeney is
I
wrong.
think it adds context and it adds mystery. And I think
I am
the
never
fact
wrong.
that
I might be misguided, but I'm never wrong.
You're both misguided.
No, that's
and
not what your
wrong.
wife told me.
Whoa.
It's getting deep in here. Anyway, did I mention that there is an awful lot of mutual respect in the room? We just don't know where it is. But I mean, the thing is that what I've often said is that a photo can break every single rule in the book as long as it tells me a story. And this not only tells me a story, but it makes me ask questions like, is that a French horn? Is that a painting of a cloud, or is that an animal pelt, or is it the remnants of a 14-year-old girl's pillow fight? I mean, we don't know. what is it? And it draws me in, and it makes me think and want to write a story about what's in the image. And that, to me, is a good photo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
Sweeney.
reasons why I voted for it.
I voted for it too.
Sweeney,
I'm glad I put
rebuttal.
boots on. It's getting deep in here.
Well, I'm just going to be swimming upstream here and tell you you're all wrong, that white thing on the top needs to go away.
All right, well, bust out the cropping notepad, and let's see how it looks.
No, the cropping notepad would lose part of the horn.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You got to leave the horn, which means you'd go in and you would edit it to black.
Yeah.
Or at least darken it so it's not so damn
Not
white.
as obvious.
Yeah, I bet you if you went in and tried to darken that, it would not look as good.
Mm.
I think.
Yeah, Sweeney has screws loose. That I like that animal. It looks like it is an animal pelt of some kind. So,
Because
Sweeney,
if you darken that down, there isn't anything in the image hardly outside of the direct center that's not black.
Yes,
Which is
that's
fine.
the point.
Which is fine.
The story is right in the doorway. The story is the gentleman leaving through the door with the French whore in the foreground.
Allegedly a French horn.
Allegedly.
Brass. It's brass. We know that.
Yep. Maybe.
Well, I'm a pain in the brass, so.
Yeah, you're a pain in the brass, all right.
All right. So anyway, Mr. Moretsky.
Did I mention you're a stuffed shirt too?
Congratulations to you, Boris. This is a very, very nice photo, which means you are now tasked with getting us a new challenge for this week. So the crowd goes wild and a nice, wonderful applause. Thank you to those that participated in this week's challenge. Some interesting photos out there. And I'd like to think that we all learned something from going through and critiquing these shots, because we got a lot of different perspectives tonight. And, it's something that we could pass along to another photo that we might shoot. You know what I'm saying? All right. Before we get out of here, we wanted to do a little discussion. Mr. Sweeney and also Mr. King, we're all Lightroom users. And just recently, this particular editing app has gotten an update. I saw the update come through, but I haven't had any time to look at the details of it.
Well, when you learn how to straighten up and fly right, then you'll get the details.
Oh, okay. So that's a dig at me. All right.
Oh, what he's trying to say is that we're all on different planes of existence.
Oh, okay. Nice. Anyway, what's going on?
We'll have to let the audience in on the joke when we get done here.
I plan on it.
Well, the other day I laid down in the middle of a runway, and I called myself a runway model.
No, I'm going to take away on that one. Anyway, what's going on with this update?
With Lightroom Creative Cloud, or Lightroom CC, with version 5.1, they brought out something pretty spiffy in the developing panel that was called the dehazer. Now, the dehazer, according to Adobe, is this really cool preset that uses very complicated math to figure out what light should be doing between your camera and the subject. And if something's in between those two items, it is supposed to be able to figure out how to kind of dehaze or get rid of that nasty kind of hazy look to your images and show you what it should look like.
Interesting.
It's
Basically,
very interesting.
It should know
Now, there are folks that claim that this is just a preset, and you can go and you can download a preset that promises to do the same effect. They play with exposure and contrast and a few other adjustments. They can get pretty close.
Yeah.
But, I'm kind of in the camp that Adobe wouldn't have put in the effort to put this in the development panel if there wasn't something behind it other than just a simple preset. I have a feeling they're actually going to take this and develop it even further. Because once they figure out how to do this well, I mean, imagery, especially digital imagery, is just math.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody got pretty clever with this. And I can show you how clever they got. Let's see here.
As you're pulling that up, Sweeney, quick question. I'm looking at it on the Play Store, and there's a comment in here that it appears, at least on Android, that the app is actually free, but that people are saying that it is useless unless you have a Creative Cloud subscription.
That is correct, sir.
That is correct.
That's correct.
So why would you if you don't have a Creative Cloud subscription, why would you bother to get this?
So Creative Cloud for photographers brings two things to the table. You get Lightroom, which is a editor, and what they call a DAM, D-A-M, or Digital Asset Management.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings to the table a way that you can add metadata to your pictures and keep track of what was shot when, where, and how. So you can find it 2 years from now, 5 years from now. When you remember you had the picture, you just don't remember where it is. It also brings an editor to the table that will give you, depending who you are, 80 to 90% of what Photoshop can do.
Yep.
Now,
And it also gives you Photoshop.
for $9.99, if I remember correctly,
Yes, no, it's
You get this
$10.
wonderful
Rounded
piece
off to
of software.
$10.
and you get Photoshop for that last 10%. Or for people like myself who like to do compositing and some other pretty sophisticated manipulation. So for $10 a month, which is effectively two cups of Starbucks coffee, you get 2 professional level editing packages, one of which will help you keep track of your pictures over time so you don't lose them.
Right, and these are all. You're saying you buy this suite for your PC
Well, you buy
or
a
Mac.
subscription. You buy a subscription.
You buy a
That's what
subscription
you
to get
pay
this suite of
$1 a month
tools for your
for.
PC or your Mac, and then you're saying that the mobile app is basically just the gravy.
It's a gimme after you get the
Right.
subscription.
Right. So, in other words, this is like downloading the Carbonite app without having a Carbonite subscription. It makes 0 sense.
Yes.
That's correct. That's correct.
And here's the thing. You look at it this way. Lightroom, and it's also the upgrade is free. In other words, it's part of your subscription.
Right.
Lightroom is say about what is it, about $100 and some odd dollars, 200.
So it's like 150 if you buy it
And
outright.
then you're looking at a full Photoshop, which is quite expensive. And you're looking at that, you get
You
one.
can't buy full Photoshop anymore without doing a Creative Cloud.
Right. And that way you're really getting 2 apps and really looking at it this way. You're getting Lightroom and getting Photoshop for free.
So the future, Adobe's been very upfront about this. And they've said point blank that we are going to bring out features that will only be available for the Creative Cloud. And this is a step in that direction.
Yeah.
So, you can complain and whine and carry on all you want about being held hostage by a subscription. The bottom line is it's here. It's going to stay. They're not changing their model. If you don't like it, you need to find something else to play with.
And other people are going to start doing that also with other things.
Yes,
you know?
Right.
they are.
Well,
They absolutely are.
look at Microsoft with their Office 365.
Yeah, subscription base.
Your subscription with the subscription, you get an unlimited OneCloud or OneDrive.
OneDrive.
Okay. But anyway,
Back,
let's
to,
get going here.
the pictures at hand.
Yep.
So I played with this new dehazer using my Nikon D700 images, but I wanted to see what it could do with a JPEG. What you see in front of you right now is actually a picture that was shot on an iPhone S. This is not even current tech. This is a picture that's about 3 years old. The picture on the left is what you would call the raw image, or straight out of camera. There was no editing done to it. And you can see it's got this kind of haze, and the haze is from the really bright lights bouncing around inside the lens. So it's almost like a lens flare in a sense.
Yeah.
The picture on the right is after dehaze was applied with no other adjustments.
Oh wow!
It
So
made
not
a
even
difference.
touching contrast, not even just touching contrast.
I didn't do a thing to that picture other than apply dehaze.
Wow, that's impressive.
Now, dehaze is a slider, 0 to 100. This happened to be about 45, 60 on the scale.
Oh wow, it can go more.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, let me. I've got another one here. Let me bring it up. This one I like even better because this is probably a little more representative. I was telling some people about the dehaze filter, and I explained it as a polarizer on steroids.
Okay.
And this is where it will really show off the polarizer side of the house.
Oh, wow.
Man, dude.
Picture on the left, raw or straight
Straight out
JPEG.
of camera.
Picture on the right, dehazed. Pay attention to the sky.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is
That
where
almost
the
looks
map is
HDR-ish.
coming into play.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. This filter does amplify the blues heavily. If you crank it up, you will get a lot of blue. So you need to be somewhat cautious with that. It will also crank up some color like the yellows. If you look at the tower, the yellows seem a little bit brighter and amplified. If I was going to play with this picture more, I'd find a way to kill that because I don't care for it being that bright yellow. But that's the trade-off to get the sky and the clouds and the water. But, you know, this is on a JPEG. That's not even a high-quality JPEG. It was straight from a camera, a 4S. You know, if you shoot with something like Manual Cam or Pro Cam or some of the others, you get a high-quality JPEG out of it.
Yeah.
Or even shoot with a TIFF, you do better.
Right.
But this is what I would consider worst case. You know, old tech, old picture, and it can still pull this off.
It's pretty good.
It's impressive.
So just keep in mind, though, you said the blue hues are sort of the accentuated.
And the yellow.
The blues would definitely become accentuated.
Okay.
Does it also mitigate reds, or is that?
Not that I've seen. It will punch up contrast a bit. Let me see here. If you can hang on just a second, what I'll do is I'll load up another file. Now, this was not shot with a smartphone, but I think you'll see the capabilities in a second.
I'd like to see what it does with. I got to play around with it, see what it does to a raw picture.
Well, that's what I want to show you as soon as. Where are you? There you are. Let's see. There we go. Open that up.
I have to admit, that's probably the first thing I've seen that makes me almost want to spend that $10 a month on the Creative Cloud. Almost everything else I've seen, I'm like, yeah, I can do that with free tool, open source tool,
Sure.
Whatnot. But that's the first thing that I've seen that actually looks like it's
So what you
revolutionary.
see here on the right, that is a D700. It's a raw image. Absolutely nothing's been done to it. No sharpening, no color adjustment, nothing. The image on the right is about 60 or so on the slider scale with dehaze. I didn't have to adjust exposure. I didn't have to adjust contrast. I didn't have to adjust color. I didn't have to adjust anything.
The first thing I see is the contrast with all of these shots you've shared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It really, it pulled it right in. So, and what this means, most people go, well, I can do that without this. And you're right, you can. But I'll tell you, in my world, when I'm dealing with 2,000 pictures, if I can go from having to do 7 adjustments to 1, that's real time on my hands.
Oh, definitely.
Well, Sweeney, let me say this. Even just by using that dehazer, you cut down on some of the steps, but I think this gives you a little more latitude to continue to get creative with your.
It absolutely does. I've got some landscapes. I wonder if I can keep sharing while I load.
I mean, because we all know that there's times when we're editing stuff and we might go too far. You know what I'm saying? We only have so much wiggle room on that particular data that's offered in that shot. But if this thing is going to say, "Hey, here's your starting ground. Now go," I like that.
Here we go. That's the finished image.
That's pretty.
Oh, wow.
Is that Utah?
That's Utah. That's that was shot D700, and let me show you the original. So you are right here. These two I don't have put together, so you have to kind of bear with me. That's the raw shot.
Oh, God, what a difference.
So that was shooting with the dehaze and then tweaking it to really fine tune it. So this is raw. I mean, this is literally raw. I didn't do a thing to it. And then I went ahead and I did the dehaze. And the trick here is you have to do the dehaze first.
Right.
If you try to use the dehaze after any other adjustments, it gets really wonky.
That's why I said it seems like it gives you a nice baseline to start with once you do that.
That's the finished.
Really, the dehaze is probably about all you really need sometimes.
Depends on your photo. Yeah.
So, I mean, as a photographer, that one filter makes it for me to use Lightroom because it brings so much to the table.
Very nice.
And like I said, for $10 a month, you too can have it.
Oh, yeah.
And when you whine about how much it is, I want to look at your Starbucks bill because I'm willing to bet you're spending more than $10 a month on coffee.
And Sweeney, that's pretty much what happened with me. I looked at, man, I piss away so much money a month.
Literally.
Stupid stuff. Yeah, just stupid stuff.
I was going to say, how much did that case of root beer that you didn't like cost?
That's right.
So I was like, man, I'll throw the $10 in.
I mean, that cup of coffee brings you enjoyment for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's gone. Literally, it's gone. Your pictures will bring you enjoyment for a lifetime, depending on what the picture is.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't buy beverages, you rent them.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's so true.
And that's a cliche, and
No, it's not.
No.
Nice try there.
Well, I figured one cliche in the hand is worth two in the bush.
That's better. Now, for the folks that are watching and saying, you know what, well, he's showing his Nikon. Yeah, he's showing his Nikon. The point of that particular segment was to highlight some software that we can use to edit our photos. And
this is software that crosses the boundaries of professional photography, which I do, to smartphone photography, which I also do.
Yes.
I hit both extremes here, and I'm telling you right now, the tools for smartphones are good. Some are really good, but if you want that little extra edge, then you really need to look at a pro tool.
Yeah.
And at $10 a month, you can't go wrong.
Yep. That argument I had, well, it wasn't an argument last week, but it was a discussion I had about using Lightroom and how the color was wonky for me and so forth.
Yeah, well, that's because you weren't exporting as sRGB.
Yeah, and right. And the thing is what several people have said to me is, hey, Pruitt, you got to remember, that is a prosumer tool.
So there's nothing prosumer about it. It's a pro tool.
Yeah. So you got to understand it. There's going to be a lot of different things in there that some things are just not going to handle properly. And so
right.
Flip it back.
And they make certain assumptions that things. Yeah. You're a pro. You know what color space is. You know what color space you need to export in. They will not hold your hand and put a default in there that works for 90% of the world.
Exactly. I enjoy it. Like I said, when I first got it, I went with the whole $10 in Lightroom and I believe it's Lightroom and Photoshop.
Yes.
And it blew my mind because, you, Joey, I use GIMP.
Photography bundle, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, I use GIMP, use it a lot, and like it. And I use Snapseed, use it a lot.
I live on Snapseed.
But it was nice to see the other options that I had inside of Lightroom, and just how powerful it is from a processing standpoint. There's sometimes I'm watching it do its thing, and my computer starts screaming as it's churning through the data. But then you look at it and like, holy crap, that does look good, and you can't get that on something else. And I'm thinking, okay, I just
got that once in a lifetime shot. It really pays to put the effort into it.
Yeah. So I spend my little $10, but I ended up upping it up. I now have the full suite. I went ahead and got all of the other stuff because I use those tools too.
Well, I don't want to break your heart on that, Ant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let people in on a little secret.
What's that?
I hope you already knew the secret. If you don't, you might want to change it. So, like Ant says, you start off with the $10. It's like crack. They give you a hit, and then you're addicted to it. The issue is, as soon as you start delving into the depths of what Photoshop can do, you realize there's other parts to the suite from Adobe that you want to play with. You want to play with video editing. You want to play with sound. You want to play with graphics. And then you realize, well, I need to play with vector graphics. Okay, now we're playing with Illustrator. Or you want to do an ebook. So now you're playing with InDesign. This normally costs, I think it's $49 a month for the full suite, which is everything Adobe has.
Yep.
If you have a student in the family.
Oh, yeah, I know about that.
Okay, all right.
I don't even want to hear it.
If you have a student in the family, you can qualify for the teacher-student package, which is $19.99 a month for everything Adobe offers.
Yeah, and I think
it's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, they give you the whole freaking thing, man, and it goes on multiple computers. Piss me off.
You can do
going back to school for.
So
That's
since I've got 3 girls in school, I took my photography package and I upgraded it to the full package. And as it turns out, I do it with a clean conscience because my 11-year-old is an art student.
That's right. That's right. She's a student. Oh, that made me so mad. I'm like, come on, but it's too late. Too late. I'm in now, but that's okay. I'm probably going to end up going back to school here within the next 2
There you go.
months. So, but yeah, that's a good talk, guys. Before we get out of here, I want to share that I did a review of Polar. I've talked about Polar before on this hangout and within the community. It is a free open source online photography editor that you can use it inside of a browser or use it as a Chrome web app. I use it as a Chrome web app. Love it. Works really well on my Chromebook because I can't have Lightroom on my Chromebook. Well, they've been working on having a mobile version, and of course they started with iOS, and I couldn't review iOS because I don't have that device, but they finally released an Android version a couple of days ago, and I tried it out. I wrote it up and did a little video of said review over on my YouTube channel. It's got a ways to go. It was fairly nice, but it still has a ways to go. Just some little intuitive things that I didn't necessarily care for. For example,
not as good as Snapseed is currently.
No. I mean, for example, you start out with the app, and it forces you into landscape mode, which I don't have a problem with forcing me into it, but if I flip my phone back around into portrait mode because I want to look at an image that's in portrait mode, you better damn well let me flip it over.
Absolutely.
No, it doesn't. When you flip it into portrait mode, it gives you a before and after of the project that you're working on.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, okay. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, so you're forced to flip it back into landscape mode, and it's got all of the tools and bells and whistles that you need, and that's nice. But every now and then, design just sort of gets in the way. It's got a histogram in there that you can use as part of your reference. A little gimmick part in it is, you know how you can take, say you want to adjust the brightness of any shot, and you just use a slider. Sliders are in there. But inside of Polar, your sliders are vertical. They're not horizontal. It's up and down. But if you don't want to use the slider, you can tap brightness and hold it, and you can tilt your phone, and the accelerometer or gyroscope, however that reacts is how the slider will react in the editor. So if I wanted to lower the brightness, I would tilt my phone left, and the slider would move as much as I tilted, so it's semi-fine adjustment, but I think it's a little bit gimmicky. I like the fact that they tried something, but outside of that, man, give me that portrait mode as an option. Don't necessarily force me into landscape mode. Yes, 95% of my shots are edited inside of landscape mode, but hey, it's my option. If I want to hold my phone the other way, I want to hold my phone the other way, because I might just be doing one thumb edits, so. But anyway, go over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AntPruitt. Check that out. You'll see that review, and I take it through its paces.
It's like trying to teach an old dog a new trick.
Yeah. Writes it down. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here, gentlemen. I'm going to allow these folks to sign off and let everyone know where they can find their work and other projects. What is going on with my camera? You want to focus there, buddy? There, that's
You are
it.
now. You've been coming and going.
Yeah, it's been doing that for quite a while.
Jeez. Okay, we're going to leave that alone. Maybe that's a Windows 10 driver, possibly. That would be my first hiccup. Anyway, outside of that, let's allow these guys to tell everybody where they can be found and show off their projects and work that they're doing. We'll start down at Tejas. Mr. Michael King.
I like to be found on Twitter, whatever, at Michael King 4023, and the same goes with Flickr and Google Plus and photos. And it's like taking candy from a baby.
All right. Appreciate you joining us, my man.
Blowing his own horn again.
What a nice parting shot there. All right. Next up, my man Mike Sweeney out in California.
Hey, you can find me at msmedia.me. That's home base for me right now. You can find an interesting book about how to take creative photography on your iPhone on iTunes. The funny thing about that, for you folks on the Android platform, of which I'm actually using because I have an S6 along with the iPhone, is a lot of my tips and trips, and that book worked just fine on the S6.
Right.
So
fundamentals. It's all fundamentals.
The basics are the basics are the basics. It doesn't change what platform you're on.
That's right.
That's. You can find me in the Twitterverse under Light and Images. You can find me on Facebook, Michael Sweeney Photography. You can also find me there in MS Media. So drop on by, say hello.
All right.
Hi.
Appreciate you joining us, my man. And no parting shot? Not one? No parting shot? One more parting shot for you?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to go push up daisies anywhere.
Okay, nice. Okay, well said. Well said. All right. Thank you again, brother. Mr. Kelley, Mr. Joey Kelley. Where?
Oh, my goodness. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. Well, although we did finally get Sweeney to drink from the dark side and join Android, so
but I still have the iPhone, so.
Well, I'll tell you, when I'll be really shocked is when you announce that you've ditched your Mac for a Linux box. Then I will absolutely.
Actually, it was the other way. I was on Linux for about 5 years and then went to Mac. So
that's not saying much for this guy.
No.
Okay, fine. I still got a multi-platform house. Just saying. Anyway, so you can find me.
He's on the other foot with you, so.
Oh Lord.
Well, you know what they say, you can't make poop shine.
Go ahead, Joey.
Woo. It is really
whoever dies for the most toys wins. Yes.
What you got, Joey? Stay with us, Joey. Stay with us. Come on. Where do we find
up on aisle 3?
It's on the tip of his tongue.
Tell you this normally I'm able to keep up. Tonight I'm falling. You gotta understand. I took about an hour nap. Before that, I had been up for about 16 hours, running on 2 hours of sleep. So yes, I know, the world's smallest violin. But anyway, so you can find my digital life at Joey Joey Kelley KELLEY.com. It's kind of my hub. From there, you'll find all kinds of different things about me, my photography, and whatnot. But you can always catch me on Facebook or on Google Plus, and I am trying to get better about posting more photos. I have been accused in my various lives of being a photo hoarder. So
at this point, leveraging a comment that Joey made earlier, he sounds like a broken record. So
this is true. Well, Mr. Kelley. Thank you as always for joining us.
Joey can't fly a lead balloon.
Is there any? Would you have one more parting shot, Mr. Kelley?
I'm so amazed. I've actually been cliched out. I think for the moment. I think I have. The well has run dry, I guess.
All right.
Flat as a pancake. Yep,
well
that's
done.
our Joey.
Well done. Thank you again, Mr. Kelley. All right. Lastly, myself, folks, you can find me here on the World Wide Web. Just look for Ant Pruitt. It will point you to whatever social media platform that you're dealing with me, as well as my blogs and YouTube channels and so forth. Ant Pruitt. There's no other. Thank goodness. Appreciate you folks watching us and joining us tonight. And just as a little inside joke, just in case you didn't quite get it,
We've all been busy as bees around here.
the panel, nope, game's over. Game's over now that I'm game's over. The panel has been in a contest of how many cliches that can be said in this hangout tonight. So
Apparently quite a few.
they've been on a roll. I've been keeping score. And
Well, let's just hope that we didn't shut the barn door after the
Third
house and the horse
place.
escaped.
third place was Michael King with 15. Second place was Joey Kelley with 16. And
Ooh.
first place is Mike Sweeney with the most dadgum cliches with 20, folks. 20.
I'm not sure what that says about me.
So that was the inside joke of tonight's hangout. Outside of our discussion regarding smartphone photography tips and tricks, if you're interested in joining this community, folks, just hit myself up or any of these guys here in the panel tonight and let them know that you want an invite. We'll be glad to take a look at your profile to make sure you'll fit in. We don't do the spamming. We don't do the selfie kings. We don't do the food porn kings.
No selfie sticks allowed.
I mean, we want some people that's going to not only share their photography, but also be able to share some knowledge with the other community members, because that's what this is about. We're trying to learn. We're trying to get better at this craft and get the best out of these smartphone cameras. So just request an invite. Be sure to check out the website, smartphone-photographers.com. You will find all of these little Hangout on Air reruns there, as well as other little articles here and there that shares little resources, tips, and tricks. And also featuring, I believe I wrote it up last night, our first My Proudest Shot feature is from community member Miss Annette Holland. Be sure to check that out and look at what her proudest photo is that she shot with the smartphone. Check that out. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. I am out of beer. I'm hot.
Stop beating a dead horse.
And I will not beat a dead horse. Be sure to click like, be sure to click subscribe, and share this with others. And we'll see you folks next Thursday at about 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, next Thursday, 9 p.m.
Square.
Eastern. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.
I'm going to go ride through a desert on a horse with no name.
It's over.